A question that I get often is how to start homeschooling. Today I'm going to break that down as basic as I can. The first thing you want to do is get your mindset together, because there's going to be a lot of people who are having negative things to say about homeschooling. You have to be brave. You have to not care. You have to know that what you're doing is what's best for your family. Definitely get your confidence up. And this goes into the next thing you should do. You should have a vision. If you don't have a vision, whatever you're trying to do is going to perish. It's not going to last. Ask yourself, why are you homeschooling in the first place? What would your ideal homeschool day look like? What are the values that you want to teach your child? What do you want them to remember about homeschooling when they get older? These are just a few questions that you can ask yourself to get yourself started on your actual homeschool vision. Homeschooling is tough. We're not going to say it's easy. It's tough for sure. But everything in life is tough, and anything worth doing is tough. So you definitely need to know why you're doing this in the first place, what your end goals are. And on those hard days, you can reflect back. Today was tough, but this is why I'm doing this. So this is worth it. This is just a small piece of the big goal that I have with homeschooling. Know why you're homeschooling and have a vision on where this is going while you're doing it, in order for you to be able to overcome all the obstacles and trials. Next, you need to know your homeschool laws, because you can't just go in with no guidance, no info on anything. So you have to know what's allowed for you to do in your state and what's not, because depending on what you vision for your homeschool, which option you would sign up under is dependent on that. You definitely need to know what you're doing and how to do it legally. If you're not sure what your homeschool laws are, then I do have a guide in the description below. Knowing your homeschool laws also help you not have any surprises, because there's different paperwork that has different deadlines. If you don't know what you need to turn in when, you don't know if your child's going to need to be proctored and do standardized tests, you don't even know that your state requires you to teach specific subjects, you're trying to just teach whatever. Or what if your state requires that you have a portfolio at the end of the year and you haven't saved any of the work from the whole homeschool year? Where are you going to turn in? If you don't know any of this, you're going to be scrapping stuff together. Don't do that. Research your homeschool laws so you go in without no surprises. Next thing you need to do is know where you're going to homeschool. You can homeschool on the porch. You can homeschool in the corner of a room. You can have a homeschooling room. You can homeschool at your kitchen table. All you need is for your child to be having fun. Learning can happen anywhere, honestly. But definitely have you a spot where you want to homeschool at. Like, it don't have to be a desk. You can have a rug on the floor and your child sitting on a rug. Put some posters up. But definitely have some part of your home where you know it's homeschooling, because your child's going to be living at home with you all day. You know how, like, for instance, if you work from home or if you work outside the home. If you work outside the home, once you get home, you don't want to talk about work. If you work from home, you want an area where you're working from home, so that when you're not at work, it don't feel like you're working. You definitely want to have a place like that too, where a child can expect to do assignments, or a place for them to expect to be physically learning. You don't want it to feel like everywhere in the home is homeschooling, and like there's no boundaries on where the actual homeschooling happens. Because even though homeschooling can happen indirectly, you do want some boundaries on it, because you don't want it to feel like they're never just relaxing. Everything is always homeschooling and education. And so you might have to declutter some stuff. If you can't find a room or a space for you to do things, you might have to declutter some. You might have to rearrange your home. Like, I know I rearranged our living room, and just me turning the couch a different direction in the room and moving the bookshelf over, it opened up so much space in this room that she now could have a homeschooling corner in the living room. And we're in an apartment. There's no excuses to be made. You can definitely work with what you have in order to make a homeschooling space. Next, you need to have a routine. I suggest that you start right now trying to come up with your homeschool routine. Figure out how your life works right now. If you're part-time working, then you know you probably want to homeschool on days you don't work. And on the days you do work, you might do a short review session on what you've been going over during the week, just to keep it fresh on their mind. You can definitely make it work, but what somebody doing for their life and what works for their homeschooling, it may not work for yours. So don't think that you have to get up at 8 a.m. Don't think that you have to go to the gym in the morning first. Don't think that you can't homeschool in the evening time. Don't think you can't homeschool on the weekends. As long as it goes with their homeschool laws, anything is possible. There are people online with full-time jobs who are homeschooling. If there's a will, there's a way. And even though you're not homeschooling yet, when I say make a homeschooling routine, I mean have a routine in your life right now, so that once you start homeschooling, all you do is just fit that into the schedule. You're not trying to become somebody brand new just because you're homeschooling. And next, any good teacher needs good instruction. So you have to be fun, you have to be engaging, you have to be hands-on. You need to be a great teacher. And of course, you don't need a teaching degree to homeschool. And so in order for you to become a great teacher, you need to watch people teaching. You need to read about it. You need to listen to other people who are homeschooling. Children learn so many different ways. You have auditory, visual, hands-on, or kinesthetic, and there's more than that. So you really need to look into the different ways that your child may learn. Know how to identify it from looking at your child, interacting with your child. Because there will be times when you're teaching your child something, they don't get it when you try to teach them by writing it. But if you have them do something that's more hands-on that goes over it, now they remembered it. They know how to do it. So you might say, oh, my child is this type of learner. But then you're teaching your child something else. They're not learning it the hands-on way that they learned it before. But then you went auditory, for instance, and you made a song out of it. And now that would click with them. And so you can't be like very rigid in your teaching styles, because children learn different ways. And I can go more in depth with that. If you want a video on it, just let me know. You definitely need to know how to identify what works with your child when it comes to learning. And you need to be able to be versatile, because a lot of schools, like the public schools, they have it where the teachers just stand there talking and the child has the right things. You need to be able to identify what things your child learns best with. And you also need to be able to adjust. So if your child isn't learning something, it's not that they can't learn it. The thing is, are you teaching it in different ways? Because if the way you're teaching it, you tried 3 times and they're still not getting it, that's not the child's fault. It's yours. You got to be able to adjust. What are other ways I could break this down that'll probably help them compute it? There's so much that goes into homeschooling, but you've already taken the first step and decided you want to homeschool. But the second step is to plan, because proper planning is going to make the homeschool journey stress-free. But with all the things that are included with starting a homeschool, it can seem very confusing or overwhelming, or it's just so much information you get overloaded and overwhelmed. But you don't have to do this alone. I have a homeschool ready program, and it's 8 weeks long, and it's going to help you, because I'm going to walk you step by step on how to start your homeschooling. You're able to ask me questions. You're able to get many homeschool resources and tools that are going to help you jumpstart this homeschooling journey. Awesome. So if you're interested in starting your homeschool journey stress-free, then check out the link in the description and I'll save you a spot. Thanks for watching.